Right, well I suppose it's time I talk about my game of the year. But before that, a quick sponsor from my message. Wait, no, that's wrong. Currently, right now, you can pick up Kingdom Come Deliverance and all of its DLC for 40% off on Chrono GG. This is one of the lowest prices I've ever seen it at. And if you know me at all, I highly recommend you get it, especially at this price. Use my link in the description below. Hello, you sexy biscuits. 2018 has been one of the best years in gaming. Not only have we had some absolute masterpieces like Red Dead Redemption 2, Spider-Man, and Monster Hunter World.
And the winner for Best Role-Playing Game goes to Monster Hunter World.
But it's not an RPG. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. But we've also had some amazing smaller games, such as the brilliant spiritual sequel to Roll Cage, Grip. This may surprise you, but my game of the year is Fallout 76. Not only is this an absolutely beautiful world, but for those who don't like stories, this doesn't have one. So you're absolutely fine to just go around shooting things. Oh, by the way, the shooting mechanics are terrible, but I'm sure they'll be patched soon. I'm sorry, okay, I may be slightly salty about Fallout 76, seeing as it was my most anticipated game of this year, and it just got flushed down the toilet. No, in all seriousness, my game of the year is Kingdom Come Deliverance, and I don't really think that surprises anyone. Unlike other Game Award shows, this isn't a Game Award show, it's just me gushing about one game. Next year I will have the Biscuit Awards, where Outer Worlds will probably win every single award. Every game has its positives and its negatives, and I wanted to look at its negatives first. I don't think it's fair me gushing about how good and great this game is without talking about some of the negatives, because that wouldn't be being honest with you. When this game was released, it was broken. There were a few issues in terms of performance, pop-in, there were some missions that just didn't work. But what Warhorse Studios has been doing since the game's release is fixing all of those issues. Now, as we have seen, some patches end up breaking other things, but when you have a game that is this massive, that is to be expected. It's like the idea that if you step on a butterfly in the past, it will affect the future in big ways. This game is massive. There are so many systems and things going on in this game that by fixing one thing, you could end up breaking something else. I think in any other circumstance, I would call out the game and its developer. But this instance is different because Warhorse Studios has been working non-stop to try and fix these issues. And for me, that shows that they actually care about their audience. And unfortunately, nowadays, you really can't say that about a lot of game companies. So you're probably asking, what bugs still exist? Well, there obviously is the odd pop-in, especially in big cities. Also, frame rate does drop when you enter Retire. Retire has always been one of the worst places to go because there are so many people, there are so many things going on, that yes, the game does drop frames. But I'm going to say it right now, these things should not detract from this game. What we have here is one of the most immersive and brilliant RPGs that I have seen in years. Kingdom Come Deliverance for me came at the right time. I have had one of the worst years of my life, and this game has allowed me to escape reality. I think that any game that allows you to immerse yourself and escape reality is a good thing. I've lost myself in the forests of Bohemia. I've just walked for hours, and you can't say that about many other games. Whether I'm out hunting or if I'm just sat in the local tavern just watching people go about their daily business, Kingdom Come Deliverance is one of the most brilliant worlds I have ever seen. I can't explain to you how fantastic the forest environments are. You literally are walking through a forest and the sun is breaching through the trees. You have these amazing sounds. Everything feels like you're there. I think this does forest environments better than any other game I've played. I've had a few comments on the channel talking about how the game is slow, how there's not enough action. That isn't what this game is. This game is an experience. It is more realistic. This game is heavily based on realism. To give you an example of how realistic this game is, if you don't wash, let's say, for like a week, you will smell, your charisma will drop, and people will react to you differently. So of course you can go to the bathhouse and clean yourself. But there is also the idea that you could go picking flowers. Now by picking flowers, you will then put them in your pockets. This will make you smell better, so your charisma will rise. Not only that, but every time you bend down to pick up flowers, your strength goes up. I can't say that about any other game, because no other game would have thought of that tiny, stupid little detail. And for me, that is brilliant. One of the things you can do in this game is just sit down and play dice. For hours. Just play dice for hours. Why not? Farkle is one of the most addictive dice games ever, and I highly recommend anyone play it. So I want to talk about the story, because I get a lot of people commenting, but Roxy, the story's too short. And yes, the story is too short. I'll completely agree with you. But what we have is probably some of my favourite single-player mission content I've ever played. The mission with the priest alone, you need to experience for yourself. There's also one where you lockpick an animal's butt, but I'm not going to spoil that one for you. Every character feels like a real person. Each character has their own personality and their own story, their own life that they go through throughout the game. Hell, some quests even take place when you aren't there. The characters will be like, hey Henry, we're going up to the barn. And Henry's like, oh, but I need to take a bath. And they'll be like, well, if you don't get there in time, the mission will be over. And yes, that can happen. Quests are timed. And that is brilliant. Annoying, but brilliant. So a major part of this game is the combat. And I'm going to say it right now, this is my favourite combat system in any game. I love the sword fighting. It's so well done. You have to actually move your sword or whatever weapon you're using up to be able to block. It uses a similar system to For Honor, but this is a lot more in depth. If you are surrounded by 3 people, you are probably going to die. And that's not because the game is too difficult, that's because it's realistic. That's because Henry, a lone blacksmith's son, probably wouldn't be able to take on 3 heavily armed men. The combat also ties into the leveling system, which I personally believe is one of the best leveling systems in any game. You level up at the same time that Henry does. Henry is absolutely useless at the start of the game. He is terrible. Over the course of the game and by practicing, and that's my biggest recommendation, practice. Go to Sir Robard. Keep practice fighting with him. You will level up all of your stats. These are all contextual, so if you were to be in constant combat, your strength would go up, your blocking would go up, your sword skill would go up. If you were to shoot loads of rabbits with your bow and arrow, your archery level would go up, unlocking different skills and perks. Hell, even at the start of the game, Henry doesn't know how to read. So you have to learn how to read in the game. At first, you are looking at things and they just don't make sense. All the words and the letters are jumbled up. But over time, you will learn how to read things and you can go back and see the things that you saw previously and they will make sense. I've never known a game do that. And the last thing I want to talk about is DLC. Now, this has been kind of a mixed opinion when it comes to the DLC for this game. First and foremost, this DLC is incredibly cheap. I think you're paying max $7.99 for a piece of DLC in this game. And when most DLCs that come out cost about $15, then yes, that is very good. So far we have had From the Ashes and the Amorous Adventures of the Bold Sir Hans, starring Carolina. Sorry, I had to. From the Ashes allowed you to build your own town in the form of Przemysławiec, aka Biscuit Town. Now personally, this is my favourite. I absolutely adored doing this. I created all my own little characters in my town. I was able to roleplay a lot more. So for someone who loves roleplaying, From the Ashes is well worth the price. And the Amorous Adventures of the Bold Sir Hans is also fantastic. You try and get Hans with the love of his life, Carolina. And there is a pretty funny quest in there. I highly recommend playing both of these DLC, but if you are more of someone who wants to build things and kind of play up the RPG aspect, I would definitely recommend From the Ashes first. This video isn't flashy or highly edited. It is a video of me talking about my favorite game of the year. When the discussion comes up if games are important or not, I will say yes every single time. Kingdom Come Deliverance has been there for me in my darkest period, and I have been able to escape, I've been able to explore, and I've been happier because of it. Not only that, but the community that we've built around it and the people that I've met and everything has been absolutely fantastic. The fact that this wasn't at the Game Awards absolutely kills me, because I think that this deserved RPG at least of the year. For those of you that wanted a TLDR, or in theory a TLDW, Kingdom Come Deliverance is one of the best open world RPGs in the last decade. Not only is the world incredibly detailed, but the characters are living, breathing humans. Every quest feels important. There are no side mission quests in this game. Every quest feels important. The combat and leveling system in this game is like nothing else, and I highly recommend picking this game up just to experience that. Kingdom Come Deliverance is in my top 10. It is an absolutely fantastic game with an absolutely amazing community, and I have met so many people, I have talked to so many fantastic and brilliant people, and I am so glad to cover this game on the channel. And I think at the end of the day that this video makes you think about possibly buying this game, because I feel like people are missing out if they don't play it. Thank you so much for watching, but until next time, that's me out. Bye guys.